on India Matters. Welcome to the show. I'm Shiv Arur. This is a Thursday night where a story from many months ago, in fact a few years ago, which had dominated the media landscape, is back in the headlines, only this time with a complete twist. It has to do with Aryan Khan, the son of Shah Rukh Khan, freshly winning a national award. His son Aryan Khan has a new movie, a show on Netflix called The Bards of Bollywood. Well, remember Samir Wankhede of the Drugs Enforcement Agency? Well, he has sued Aryan Khan for a little clip in this new show which he says is defamatory. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. But I have a fantastic interview with Chetan Bhagat coming up at 8:30 p.m. today. This is an interview on Gen Z, on whether he continues to have that youth connect. He chooses between Rahul Gandhi and Modi on who is a bigger youth icon. All of this on his upcoming book that's going to be out very soon. So we've got a power-packed show for you, but first we're starting with the big breaking news. Well, the worst has happened in my view, viewer, at the Asia Cup. Surya Kumar Yadav of the Indian cricket team, who had dedicated India's victory over Pakistan to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack, has just received a warning by the match referee. The same referees who have not reprimanded Pakistan for their absolutely shameful behavior on the pitch, where they tried to taunt India about falsehoods over what happened during Operation Sindoor. That same referee system has issued a warning to our man Surya Kumar Yadav because he dedicated the match to the victims of Pahalgam. So the match referees at the Asia Cup have basically platformed the Pakistanis and all the shameful terror-endorsing behavior that they displayed on the pitch. But they had a problem with Surya Kumar Yadav dedicating the match to the victims of Pahalgam. The Indian captain is likely to be fined. Well, I want to play out for our viewers what he said. Here's what he's been warned about.
We stand by with the victims of the families of Pahalgam terror attack, and we express our solidarity. And also, most important thing for me, we want to dedicate today's win to all our armed forces who showed a lot of bravery.
So he dedicated India's win to the victims of Pahalgam. This was on September the 14th when India beat Pakistan by 7 wickets. Pakistan had gestured about aircraft. They'd used a bat to fire in the air. They taunted India about aircraft that had been allegedly shot down, which is complete rubbish. And yet it is Surya Kumar Yadav who has been penalized and given a warning by the match referee. The hypocrisy of the cricket system, of which we claim to control through the BCCI, couldn't be more hypocritical. Ankit Tyagi is with me. He's been tracking all of this very closely. Ankit, you know, the most glaring aspect of this is the fact that the Pakistani players did far worse things. It's not even comparable because Surya Kumar Yadav did not misbehave. There was nothing shameful about what he said. He literally dedicated the match victory to the victims of Pahalgam. Nothing compared to what the Pakistanis did, and yet he receives a warning.
You know, Shiv, if there is one agency to blame, that's the BCCI. You have put the country and the team in this situation that Pakistan, the Pakistani team and their fans would be laughing today at the way what ICC has done. Though this was a complaint which was made by the Pakistani cricket team against the Indian captain, saying that, you know, political statements have been made. Well, as you rightly pointed out, what they did, their players did on the field, the machine gun gesture, the aircrafts, that is far worse than what Surya Kumar Yadav said. He only dedicated the victory to the people and those who suffered in the Pahalgam attack. How is that a political statement? It is so many times we have seen, whether it's floods or any natural calamity or any tragedy, players wear black band. Players come out and dedicate their victories to those people. So how is that political and not what the Pakistanis have done? Now the question also remains: how strongly have we objected to it? How strongly has the BCCI objected to what the Pakistani players did? And will there be action against them? That remains the big question. But at the end of it, it is on the BCCI for putting the country and the players in this situation.
And we understand that penal action or a fine may be imposed on Surya Kumar Yadav, which would be the peak irony of this entire unsavory situation. Ankit, thanks very much for that. Atul Vasan, former Indian cricketer, is also with us. Atul, what do you think of this Surya Kumar Yadav receiving a warning from the match referee for dedicating that victory to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's just about right. I've always believed that not shaking hands was well done by Indian team, because we didn't want to acknowledge, we didn't want to play this match anyway, because the whole nation was against it. But there were many things around it which cannot be explained in this debate. But we had to play this game for the continuity of the ecosystem. But having said that, by just going there and playing doesn't mean that things are normal. And we didn't acknowledge them. We didn't shake hands with them. We insulted them. And then they actually got slighted. And I think what happened after that, when Surya Kumar Yadav mentioned all these things, and that was just for the optics, for just to placate our Indian diaspora, that yes, we are sorry that we had to play this game, but we dedicate this. But that was a political statement, which is right. And I think Pakistan woke up late. After 7 days, they put this complaint. But what they did ever since is actually comical, and I think very, very juvenile. And I think ICC will always also take a serious look on that. But I think if Surya Kumar Yadav has gotten off with a slap on the wrist, I think so be it, because we did everything what we were supposed to do. We mentioned that, and we've gotten away with it. And also we won on the ground. So I think we have got the we have got the cake and the cherry on top.
Okay, Atul Vasan, thanks very much for joining me on that. I'm still going to point a finger directly at the BCCI for even allowing such a thing to happen. As I've said here on India Matters before, this was platforming, legitimizing and mainstreaming the Pakistani cricket team, allowing them to indulge in this shameful behavior. And the Indian cricket captain, at the end of the day, received a warning for dedicating a match that very few people even wanted to see happen to the Pahalgam victims of terror by the country that these shameful cricketers actually belong to. Well, that is what we are at this point of time. We'll keep tracking that story. We're hearing a fine may be imposed on Sky. If that happens, it's going to take things to entirely the next level. And I promise you, we will be following it up very, very soon. And let's move to our big story tonight. Remember the entire cruise controversy concerning Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan? He even spent some time in jail on a story where he was finally completely exonerated. Well, that entire controversy has re-erupted, not because of alleged drugs, not because of a cruise, but because Sameer Wankhede, the drug enforcement officer at that time who was in the spotlight hunting Aryan Khan, has taken strong exception to the bads of Bollywood, the new Netflix show directed by Aryan Khan, in which there is one portion which actually lampoons Sameer Wankhede very clearly. We obviously can't show you that, but if you look on social media, you will find that clip. Well, that particular clip not only lampoons him, but Sameer Wankhede has now said that there is a case to be made of defamation on the law enforcement. Is this Sameer Wankhede crawling out of the woodwork as a desperate act of redemption after his cruise fiction fell completely apart in the media eye? Drugs, digs, drama, and now defamation. The Wankhede war on this Netflix series is what I want to talk about now. And Shobha De, commentator, critic, and best-selling author, is with me live. I know for a fact that Shobha ji has watched The Bads of Bollywood, and she's also tracking this entire story very, very closely. Ms. De, your opening take on this very unsavory situation. It was a story that played out entirely in the media eye a few years ago. In your view, is this Sameer Wankhede crawling out of the woodwork, to get more publicity, a redemption attempt? What do you think?
Well, to start with, I'm not terribly surprised, because Sameer Wankhede is not the kind of person to back off from a fight. If he believes that, and it's a very smart move what he's actually done. I'm sorry to break the conversation. He is not talking about himself personally being in any way defamed. He's talking of a much bigger issue. He's talking about national honor being and the confidence of the public being eroded in law enforcement agencies. And just by the way, he's put himself into the narrative as saying that he was parodied or he was made fun of. And in my own review of the bads, as you're calling it, but I think it's a stronger word that they intend to use in the title. He is the character playing the law enforcement officer. One can look at it from Aryan's point of view. Here's a young guy who spent time in jail, allegedly on charges that were framed, and he has defended and so on. He's getting his little kick parodying a certain very critical moment in his own life, which I'm sure has transformed and changed his life forever, as it must have the members of his family. This is his way of getting back at Mr. Wankhede.
Yeah.
Now, should Mr. Wankhede take it all so personally? At the end of it all, it's a few seconds of what is clearly a parody or a spoof. Had he laughed it off and said, "Thank you very much. I mean, the portrayal is fun, but it's completely misrepresentative," maybe people would have admired him more for it. By going ahead with a lawsuit, he's redeemed himself somewhat by saying if he does get the damages of 2 crores, he intends giving it to Tata Memorial, to the cancer hospital. So he's saying clearly, it's not that I'm doing it for the money. And he's also pointed out that some of the cases are still sub judice. So should Aryan Khan and Red Chillies and Shah Rukh Khan and Gauri Khan and Netflix be getting into an area that is already potentially legally compromised? That is a bigger question. But Sameer has turned it all around to say that by showing the middle finger, by mocking the system at a point in the series where Satyameva Jayate is being in quite dramatically projected, the filmmakers have insulted national sensitivities, national honor. Now there he has a point.
Yeah.
About him being personally stigmatized, forget it. I mean, the case is old hat, and there are many more battles to fight. He's had a very good track record as an IRS officer in the past, as heading the Narcotics Bureau. There'll be 15,000 kilograms of narcotics, etc., on his CV.
But Ms. Day, don't you think it does look like a bit of a desperate attempt at some kind of redemption, given that after what looked like a crusade and a big crackdown and a righteous crackdown on drugs, that entire thing completely fell apart. And Sameer Wankhede has been out of the headlines this entire time, and now he's back because of this show that Aryan Khan has made.
I would definitely think that it must have hurt him deeply subsequently to be accused of corruption and blackmail, which he has vehemently denied. So if he is trying to win back some of the lost honor and maybe win back his old positioning, that's entirely his personal call, and it's not a bad call to take. He does have a background in law, don't forget. So what he's talking about is not something that he's conjured up just for publicity. I don't think he needs negative publicity. And since the series has been declared a hit, and the popular sentiment is likely to be with young Aryan Khan and also with the makers of the series, Sameer has, in a way, much more to lose. So if he's going ahead with this, it's worth finding out what his motivation is. We could see what Aryan's was.
Yeah.
This is a kind of childish, I'm going to get back at you, I'm going to show you kind of a thing. But the projection of the character playing Sameer Wankhede was ludicrous. It was so obviously a parody, such an obvious send-up. It was exaggerated to a point where it's comical. If that was the intention, well, they succeeded. I mean, the series makers.
Ms. Day, by going to court, and filing for defamation, is Sameer Wankhede drawing more attention to this case? Like you said, it's old hat. Not many people immediately remember it. We had to also research and put out the timeline here on NDTV. Has he sort of just drawn attention back to a time that didn't paint him in very good light?
it's clearly an episode that cost him a lot. It cost him his credibility. It led to a transfer. It led to a man who was at one point being hailed as something of a hero for actually having the guts and the gumption to go after a superstar's kid and to try and make a case against him. And from that, the fall from grace has been dramatic and has been, it shows him in a very poor light. I'm sure his colleagues and everyone else, I mean, even people who don't know the case intimately, would say that he may have done his homework and he may have had a watertight case. But as things panned out, the loser was him. I mean, Aryan, of course, has been psychologically probably affected for life, but it did cost Sameer Wankhede his reputation. And maybe this is his one shot at putting the story straight, and he is entitled to it.
Has, in your view, you've watched the show, Ms. Day, Aryan Khan, do you think clearly having some fun at his own misery and troubles, that's how he's processing what must have been a very traumatizing time for him? He did, after all, spend time in jail as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it was also kind of like I mentioned in my own piece on the series. It's a revenge scene. Like you have a revenge dress. This was Aryan Khan's way of saying, in their own words, using a four-letter term which starts with an F-U to Sameer Wankhede. And the fact that the scene carries on to say and suggest that Wankhede is out of control, and he says, all of Bollywood is drugged out. And there's another sequence earlier where there's the audacity of someone wearing a T-shirt and talking straight to the camera and saying, say no to drugs. So the whole thing is a bit of an in-joke for the movie business, for the movie industry, for Bollywood, for people who are part of a certain circuit within Bollywood. It's a dig at Nepo kids. It's a very, like you said, the word cheeky, a cheeky look at the representation of nepotism in Bollywood. And here's a young man saying, the hell with what you people think. If you think we are Nepo kids, go ahead and think that, because Nepo kids are here to stay. And me as Nepo director, I'm here to prove a point, and I'm going to make a successful series that challenges all the norms. So good luck to Wankhede and good luck to Aryan Khan. They both have strong positions and they're both defending those. And I'm sure the courts will decide whether there's any merit to this case.
Well, Aryan Khan came out on top the last time. We'll have to see what happens this time. If it goes to court, will it get thrown out? We'll have to wait and see. And like you rightly said, Shobha, the courts will decide. Thanks so much for speaking to us here on NDTV and India Matters. Well, remember that the entire Aryan Khan episode was also in many ways a lesson for the mainstream media. And I speak very honestly about it because it was covered with many people making up their minds, not really asking the tough questions about the manner in which the entire investigation was being conducted, like a witch hunt, with information leaking liberally to different sections of the press about what Aryan Khan was alleged to have done. And we all saw here on the mainstream media in some ways how that entire case really fell apart. It's something that still occupies all of our minds as we continue to watch how this fresh episode now unfolds. On the other side of this break, it's somebody who is connected to youth and is coming out with a new book, because we're all talking about the Gen Z. Chetan Bhagat is live and exclusive right here.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today.
The shock and mourning over the demise of Assam's beloved Zubin Garg turns into a controversy as the special investigation team raids Zubin's manager. Angry locals protest as the manager goes absconding. The Delhi police have issued a lookout circular against the sleazy ashram and fake godman accused in a molestation case. The police claim the self-styled godman is disguising himself to evade arrest. Sameer Wankhede takes on the bads of Bollywood, goes after Aryan Khan again. A case has been filed against Shah Rukh Khan and Red Chillies Entertainment. Wankhede is hoping to win a defamation case. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah slams the BJP over Ladakh violence, claims it is the BJP which is deflecting from its failure and making excuses, and that the Congress did not instigate the riots.
Co-presented by Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today. Co-powered by Cia Cross Drive. Trip you can trust. Finesta, India's
Finesta Windows. Beautiful and durable designs. Installation से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Fine, finer, Finesta.
सैल्यूट है जी. आप देश की रक्षा में जान लगा देते हैं और आप घर घर में तार लगाते हैं जी. ई बीम टेक्नोलॉजी से बनी, न जले न पिघले, सबकी रक्षा करे.
हम सरहद पर लोगों की रक्षा करते हैं और आप देश के अंदर. सैल्यूट तो बनता है जी.
अपार अणुशक्ति फायर प्रोटेक्ट वायर. अपार देश का तार.
फिनेस्टा विंडोज. ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Fine, finer, Finesta.
गोल्ड क्लास ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ. धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ.
बहू, आज जो कुछ हमारे पास है सब इनकी देन है. एक अगरबत्ती की दुकान से इतना बड़ा बिजनेस खड़ा किया.
प्रणाम दादाजी.
दादाजी, ये तो पुष्पा अगरबत्ती के मालिक हैं घनश्याम दास. इनके स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट किया था, इसीलिए आज ये सब कुछ है.
जो आगे की सोचते हैं ग्रो करते हैं. डाउनलोड ग्रो फॉर स्टॉक्स, म्यूचुअल फंड्स एंड आईपीओ.
और ये कौन सी कंपनी के मालिक हैं?
ये तो दादाजी हैं.
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vikas.
फिनेस्टा विंडोज. ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Fine, finer, Finesta.
No journalist in India has flown in more fighters. The F-16, the F-18, the MiG-35, the Su-30 MKI, the Sea Harrier, the Tejas, the Gripen, the Mirage.
At a time when people are trying desperately to read the young Indian's mind, what are they thinking? What makes them angry? What keeps them up at night? What are the relationships they like? Are these really relationships anymore, or are they situationships? Why are they not politically inclined like previous generations? Why do our politicians want to try and weaponize our youth? Why are youth in some places angrier than others? Are young Indians as angry as Indians in, say, Indonesia or Nepal or elsewhere? Well, who listens more to youth than someone who's always written about the young, including his brand new novel? In one of the youngest countries in the world, he continues to be among the most read. And 10 years after his last book, he's back with his newest. 12 Years, My Messed Up Love Story is the new book by Chetan Bhagat. Someone who's been known not just as a best-selling author, but someone whose novels have triggered youth conversations and are very much part of the national zeitgeist. Chetan, good to see you. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you look good too. You've lost a lot of weight and everything.
Thanks. We all try. You know, we're getting old.
Yeah.
We don't have the choice of living the way we used to, but
that's good.
It's good to have you here in the NDTV newsroom, Chetan, and big congratulations, of course, to your upcoming book. We're happy to have an advance copy of it here at NDTV. So I want to get one quick disclaimer out of the way today. You know, I said, am I too old to do this conversation? Because I want to talk about young people. So we thought maybe we should have a Gen Z. Everyone's talking about the Gen Z right now. And I thought, let's have a Gen Z interviewer. So I did the second best thing because I couldn't get enough volunteers. So I crowdsourced today's questions. Among people who've read many of your books, as have I, but also questions directly from people to you. In this interview. So many of these questions are directly from the very young, amazing young staff that we have here at NDTV. So I'd like to start by asking you, Chetan, about the book itself. It's called 12 Years. It's about an age gap in a romance, but it's also messed up according to the title. Tell us why it's messed up.
So there's two people, it's a love story.
Yeah.
So the boy Saket is 33, he's divorced. And the girl is 21, she's never had a boyfriend. 33 minus 21 is 12.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called 12 years. So this time the core conflict, every story needs a conflict, is the age gap. So yes, one of the characters, the 21-year-old is probably what you call Gen Z. And the 33-year-old is, I guess, what you call millennial.
Yeah.
So you can call it a millennial Gen Z love story. So it is messed up because of the age difference.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is going through a divorce right now, and she's not even had a boyfriend. She comes from a very conservative Jan family. Her parents don't even allow her to talk to boys, like even as friends. So, you know, then something like this will be messed up. And the more messed up a story is, the more interesting it is to read.
So it's messed up, I'm assuming, in many different ways, which people will only find out once they actually read the book.
Main thing is the age gap, right? There is some resistance even on the internet, even before the book is out. People are saying, how can you show this? How can you have a story about a divorced guy who's going with this girl who's not had a boyfriend before? It's messed up. I am acknowledging it. It is messed up. But my job is to show what happens in society. Does something like this happen in society? Yes, it does. Not all the time, but it does. So, you know, it is messed up, but life is messy, love is messy.
Yeah. You've returned to romance after a decade.
Yes.
And hugely anticipated as well. Tell us about